Are you serious about comedy? Are you serious about stand-up comedy? If you are, then you may have considered to moving to Los Angeles or New York to continue your comedy journey. Now, everyone knows Los Angeles and New York are the entertainment meccas of the United States. However, there are some major differences when it comes to stand-up comedy that you must know before determining which city to choose. And I am going to share with you right now. Whether you're an established comedian in your own respective scenes that's trying to take it to the next level, or if you're still relatively beginning out and you want to become really, really good. I've heard some comedians say you want to really hone your gifts and become really, really good before you make the move to New York or LA. And for me, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you can make the move to become really good, especially if your respective scenes doesn't have a scene already. Then why not make the move to really get started in it? Now, if your hometown does have a scene, perfectly fine. Go to it, learn from it. But I think there's only a certain amount of ceiling, is depending on where you are, that you can hit. And as opposed to working hard in your respective scenes to get to a certain level and then making the move to New York, where you have to start all over to establish your presence in the community, I think it's more valuable to get started into the New York scene and grow with the community together. I found that comedians that move to New York, unless they are very connected, they have TV credits, or they know someone that's within the industry that can really vouch for them, everyone's going to be starting from the beginning again. A little bit about me. I started comedy in Los Angeles, actually, and I was doing comedy in LA for about a year, hitting mics and everything like that, what a new comedian does. And after about a year, I decided to move to New York. And that's what happened to me. I had to start all over in New York, which was fine. I loved it. And these are so since I have experience starting both in LA and New York, these are the main differences that I found from my own personal comedy journey. The most important I found is the stage time. I found that when I made the move to New York, I was getting on stage a lot more. And this is so valuable when it comes to a new comedian, to become more comfortable on stage. And there is a big reason for this discrepancy in stage time. And for me, it was the commute. In Los Angeles, in California, it's a big, vast of land. LA is a huge city. And one thing that it's known for is its horrible traffic. So when I was hitting these mics, I would a lot of times have to drive from one mic to another. And with the traffic, there were times where I would drive for 35-40 minutes just to miss the mic because of traffic, right? So on a good night in LA, if I was driving to all the places, I would, if I'm lucky, I would hit 2 mics. Most likely it was 1. And when I moved to New York, you don't need a car to get around here. The subway does everything for you. So I found that when I moved to New York, at the baseline, I was hitting about 3 mics a day. And especially when I was super grinding hard, if everything worked out perfectly, I could even hit 5. I think the most I've ever done was like 6. And I'm not saying you should do that, because sometimes there is diminishing returns. But I'm just giving you an idea of how much more stage time there is that you can get to if you're in New York. I looked up the Free Mics website, the New York City resource for open mics here in the city, and in 1 week I counted 175 open mics. So that's a lot of stage time where you can really grow and get better as opposed to a smaller scene where there's not that big of a comedy community there. Second thing that you have to think about is, does the city personality fit with yours? And one thing that I fell in love with New York was its hustle and bustle. I love the friction of the city. You know, some people say it's really dirty, you know, but I think it has character. I think it's very rugged, and that's the thing that I fell in love with the city. Some people might love the calmness and the sun of Los Angeles, which is perfectly fine. If you can't handle the New York winters, you're going to be miserable here. Okay, so make sure that the city is something that you're really attracted to. One thing that I do really miss about Los Angeles is the Mexican food and In-N-Out. But you know, this comedy journey was so important to me that I said, okay, I'll take a break. But whenever I go back to visit my family, the first thing that I do is get In-N-Out. But yeah, New York, I love the friction, you know, if you stick millions and millions of people on a small island, you're forced to interact with people, right? And there's, you know, people on the subway, you're close to them, and when you have to interact with people every day, there's a certain type of comedy that comes out. I found out that my mailman is hilarious, my bodega guy, the corner store guy is super funny, and I love that. That's a charm of the city. Another thing is industry-wise. Los Angeles is where all the Hollywood movie producers live. So if you are a screenwriter on top of a comedian, or a aspiring movie actor, LA might be the better fit for you. As opposed to New York, where there's Broadway. If you're more of a theater type of person, New York might be the better fit for you. So determine your pros and cons, what you're really wanting to get out of your comedy career. And once you establish that, and once you're aware of what it is that you're looking for, you can determine whether New York or Los Angeles is a better fit for you. I think Bill Burr and Steve Hofstetter said it the best. They said something along the lines of, if you want to become great at comedy, you move to New York. If you want to become famous, get on TV, you move to LA. And so I hope this video was helpful to you when determining whether or not moving to LA or New York. I did not really delve into comedy clubs. I've more focused on getting started here and what can really help you make the decision, and I provided that information to you. I'm going to make another video about the New York comedy club scene, how to get stage time at New York comedy clubs in a future video. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification. I have some wonderful sketches coming up. I also have stand-up clips coming up. I know, again, I'm relatively new at this, so I'm getting the hang of it. So I really appreciate you tuning in, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.